Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the Warning Wild podcast, where we are going to do a deep dive into all things our latest installment of the Windup Watch Fair in Dallas, our first time in Dallas. And joining me for this conversation, as always when it comes to things related to Windup, we have Nellie Calhoun.
What's up?
How's it going, Nellie?
Sorry, let me take that again. Howdy.
Yeah, howdy. Howdy do. And we have Kyle Snar.
Giddy up.
Okay. Everyone from Texas is like,
shut up.
Please don't come here. So yeah, you heard it right. Dallas, Texas. It's now on the map for Windup. Previously, we were just doing events in these ho-hum cities, New York, San Francisco, and Chicago. But now we're finally bringing the party to Texas, to Dallas, Texas. So right off the top of the podcast, I'm going to get it out of here because I feel like we sometimes forget to say this right at the top. If the only thing you want to know is where and when, I'm going to tell you where and when. The Dallas Windup Watch Fair is Saturday, March 15th and Sunday, March 16th at the Hickory Street Annex, which is at 501 South 2nd Avenue in Dallas, Texas. Do I need to repeat it? The Windup Watch Fair Dallas is March 15th and March 16th at the Hickory Street Annex in Dallas, Texas, which is at 501 South 2nd Avenue in Dallas, Texas. We are open on Saturday from 12 to 6 p.m. and on Sunday from 12 to 5 p.m. You might be asking yourself if you're really familiar with the Windup schedule. Wow, that's a 2-day event, not a 3-day event. Well, this is the first time we're coming to Dallas. And I think as we've learned from expanding the show pretty quickly over the last couple of years, we're trying to take it a little bit slower this time. But more on that in a second. As is customary at the start of every Warning Wild podcast, let's do a wrist check. Nellie, what watch do you have on your wrist?
On my wrist today is a Bretta Play in their blue colorway. I love this watch. It's super simple. The case and strap are made from recycled plastic. Very fun. And I'm repping Texas today because Bretta is a brand based out of Texas, Dallas, Texas, in fact.
Hot dog.
Hot dog.
That's really exciting. It's a beautiful blue in person.
Thank you.
Kyle, what do you have on your wrist today?
I have my latest acquisition. It is my Timex Ironman 8-lap Shades of Gray. It's a JDM model that I saw pop up online, and I instantly saw it and had to have it. And I'm really glad I grabbed it because they're all gone now. Because multiple people have asked, and I went back to where I got it, and they're just all gone. So it's a really cool. Yeah, I've never had an Ironman before, but it's like a really fun watch. I think lots of people who've seen it kind of on my Instagrams and stuff have been into it, or just when I'm on a meeting on video, people are like, wait, what watch are you wearing? I want one, which has been kind of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. How about yourself?
That's a watch that I've seen on social media a bunch in advertisements, and they almost got me to buy one. But then I said, I don't need another watch. But then I saw you have it on, and I'm like, oh, that would have been a cool watch to have. But you snooze, you lose. I am wearing my Rolex Explorer 2 16570 Polar. You know it, you love it. It's a great watch. I've had it for a while now. What's interesting about it today is I have it on a strap that is a blast from the past. If you're familiar with the straps we've made over the years, it's our High Craft Vintage in a red suede. Don't make them anymore because they're too difficult to make. But I love the way it looks.
I saw you putting that on that strap last night. Are you good at putting leather straps on nice watches? Do you scratch the inside of the lugs like I do?
Well, my definition of good is that it's okay to scratch the backside of lugs. So yes, I'm an expert in that sense.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm not precious about my watches, or at least I try not to be. Cool. All right. Well, let's start talking about the Windup Watch Fair Dallas. Why are we going to Dallas? Who wants to answer that question?
I'm actually texting Mike Pearson right now, so Kyle, can you answer?
Yeah.
Shout out Mike Pearson.
So, over the last few years, we have received a lot of feedback. First of all, we ask for feedback. That's something that we always do. We ask for feedback from our readers. We ask for feedback from our brands that we partner with. And we've gotten feedback that Texas is an important place to both our readers and the brands we work with. We kind of tried to start proving that out at the end of 2023. In December of 2023, we had a meetup in Austin, and it was super fun and got a lot of interesting folks that showed up, and it was very, very, very well attended. And so that was a big proof point to us that our audience is certainly there in the state of Texas and like excited to interact with us. But I think we also started hearing that the Dallas market is a place for us to consider as well. So I think we kind of knew that if we were going to do another windup in the US, that Texas would be a place that we'd have to consider.
Yeah. We've wanted to be there for a while, so it's exciting to finally get a chance to go there. And also now we get to have kind of bragging rights, north, south, east, west. We've got it all covered. Unless we want to go like literally in the middle of the country.
And we might. No saying that we won't at some
What
point.
is the literal center point of the country?
Well, there's two. I know this. There's the geographical center of the country that includes like Alaska and Hawaii, or there's like the 48 states center. I've driven past the geographical center that includes Hawaii and Alaska. It's like in South Dakota or something like that. And my wife immediately made me pull over so she could run over and take a picture.
Okay, so Windup, South Dakota, coming straight to you, 2026.
It's like literally in the middle of nowhere, man.
That's okay. It is interesting when you drive around the country. Like they're like, I know we just like colloquially say like middle of nowhere. There's some real middle of nowhere parts of this country. It's really crazy. Every time I drive through places like that, I'm like, that's crazy.
I'm from the middle of nowhere part of this country. In the middle of nowhere in New Hampshire. Real nowhere vibes.
I don't know if that counts.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
whatever.
You're too close to things.
When you drive for like an hour across the desert and don't pass another car, that's when it gets creepy. That's
all
when it
right,
gets
all
really
right.
weird.
I'm from.
You should be proud to not be from a creepy place. We just picked new healthcare, and there are healthcare plans that are specifically for living in those places that are in the middle of nowhere because there's like special coverage. Anyway, no one wants to hear about that. So we're coming to Dallas, really excited. So this is sort of I don't want to say it's a test because I don't think any of us are thinking that this won't go anything but like exceptionally well. But we really just kind of wanted to, compared to the other sides of windups, take it a little bit slow this time. So
and I'll also say, Blake, if it's cool, if you would have come to Nelly or myself at the Windup Watch Fair in New York just in October and said, "Hey, are you guys doing a fair in Dallas in March?" I would have been like, "No, we have no plans for that." That was not that long ago, and here we are doing a fair in the middle of March in Dallas. So it came together quick, and there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think while it's been a decision long in the making, it was one that was made closer to this date than you might expect.
Yeah.
So I think other than where and when and why, I guess, the what's going on at Windup Dallas? What kind of brands are showing up? Who's going to be showing watches? What kind of fun can people expect? Do you guys want to give a rundown to some of the brands that are going to be there?
Sure. Well, I think we should start sort of by setting the scene for how we went about organizing this windup. As everyone on the pod so far has mentioned, this was a faster production time, and we have been in long conversations over multiple years with many of the brands that we've worked with for a long time at Windup about expanding into a new market. This is my 4th year here at Worn and Wound, and this is the first new edition fair since I joined, which was the year we went back to San Francisco and started Chicago. So we were ready to move into a new market, and we've been having conversations since my very first fair with some brands about coming to Dallas. So because we're imagining this fair as now sort of the smallest of the 4 fairs for now, we really went out to brands that had been expressing interest in coming to Dallas for a long time. So you're going to see brands that have been participants in Windup over many, many years. So these are some like long-time participating brands that we made invitations to join us at Windup in Dallas. And that includes are awesome lead sponsors of this event. So we have our good friends in alphabetical order: Christopher Ward, Oris, for longtime supporter,
OG, first wind up, every wind
lead
up.
sponsor, and Zodiac. And Christopher Ward and Zodiac now have, well, Chris Ward now has their showroom in Dallas, and Zodiac is a brand based in Dallas. So we have a fun trifecta of longtime brands, hometown brands, and sort of expat brands that are now landing in Dallas.
Yeah. I'm excited. What other kind of stuff is going to be going on? We can go through the full list of brands later. Nelly's contractually obligated to read the list of brands in one breath, which frankly, for you at this point, 40-something brands should be a breeze. So
Totally.
no complaints.
So fast.
What other kind of cool stuff is going on at the show?
Yeah, I think this is a really great venue that we've been able to find. It is an old oil factory storehouse, like the Gulf. Is it the Gulf Oil factory?
Yeah, Gulf Oil Distribution
It was
Center.
It was a oil pool. It was a pool of oil at one point.
Real Texan history there.
It's been renovated and restored. It's kind of got that like exposed brick meets glass walls meets cool wood floor vibe. They do a lot of different kind of special occasions here, and this is like the first time they're hosting like a big watch fair like this. So we've really tried to maximize the space. So when you walk into the door, the first thing that you'll be seen as you walk in is a space that is brought to you by Accutron. So the Accutron Lounge will be kind of positioned on that main floor. We invite you to grab a seat, hang out, learn more about those watches and kind of what makes them, I was gonna say tick, but they sweep, so I couldn't say tick. Yeah, there you go. And right adjacent to that will be one of two Bruichladdich bars. So we'll have a bar on that main floor that you can totally check out. Meanwhile, I forgot to mention, before you even walk in the front door, you'll pass a couple of awesome food trucks along the way. So food will be available on site, which is always a nice
And a
bonus
big
to have.
front porch where you can enjoy the weather in Dallas, which is slated to be in the high 70s. And it is March in New York City right now. I can't tell you how excited I am to have a little bit of warm weather and sunshine. It's going to heal me.
Awesome. I can't wait either. Have to pack accordingly. Then you make your way upstairs to the main hall where you see obviously each corner of the room will be anchored by one of our three lead sponsors. And then there will be several things going on up there as well. Another Bruichladdich bar will be up on that main floor. And if you make your way over to the Zodiac booth, they're being joined and co-hosted by Fossil. And great thing about Fossil is Fossil will be bringing in one of their local watchmakers to be there and be available for strap changes, bracelet resizing, and that kind of a watch maintenance. So that's really exciting that they're big thanks to Fossil for enabling that kind of service to be on site. And then also, just kind of excited to have Fossil there in general. They've come to the fair once before and brought their Disney collection when it launched with them in New York in 2023. They're also bringing a launch for our fair as well, which is their now limited edition Minecraft collection. So if you're into Minecraft or you have kids that are into Minecraft, that collection will be on display at Windup for the first time. That's very exciting for us, and a big thanks to Fossil for doing that. They'll have 3 different watches, 2 different Minecraft watches, and then some really cool other types of clocks and even a ring watch, which sounds awesome as well. So definitely hit up Zodiac, check out the Fossil booth that's adjacent to it, get your strap resized or strap swapped or your bracelet resized there, and check out those Minecraft limited editions. And then as you continue to make your way around, Christopher Ward is bringing their big complement of all kinds of watches to the fair this year. And near them will be another Texas-based company, which is the Watch Preserve. So the Watch Preserve will be there. They are a reseller of watches and are bringing with them a very talented person you may have seen on Instagram. He goes by Sunflower Man on Instagram, and he'll be actively painting and illustrating watches all weekend long. So big thanks to the Watch Preserve for bringing Sunflower Man in. And then, of course, we have Oris that will be there and displaying their new Divers and Diver 65 watches there, which we're excited to see in person finally.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think for again, not to make it sound like a small show, but for a show that's like a little bit smaller compared to some of the other windups we have, there's a lot going on, which is really exciting. What kind of food are the food trucks going to be?
They're called Street Bites. So it's Tex-Mex, a little American sort of Southern food. It'll be, I'm really excited for their tacos. I'm a taco fiend, so I'm going to be getting my fix of good Tex-Mex.
Hell yeah.
From them.
And we have some stuff, Blake, also happening kind of like around the fair. So we kind of talked about what the layout looks like, feels like, kind of what the vibe is. But we'll also have a couple things happening in and around the fair that I think are worth mentioning. One of the things is that the night before, so the Friday night before the actual event, we are co-hosting a screening of the Bulova 150-year documentary film that has just come out. We did a panel on this at Windup New York, and we kind of showed the little preview on this panel where we had the director and several people featured in the film. We've all had a chance to see this. It's really entertaining, and they're hosting it at the Alamo Drafthouse in Dallas, where you are invited to join us. You can come free of charge, watch this film. You'll be well fed and well, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you'll
hosted.
Well hosted. Thank you, Nelly. Well hosted at this event. It's free of charge. You just have to RSVP ahead of time. So the link for that RSVP will be in the show notes below on this podcast. You can also just hit up the Worn and Wound website for that information or on our socials. But yeah, definitely get registered and RSVP in for a kickoff party with Bulova on the Friday night before the fair. Can't wait to see you there for that. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, registration is popping off already. I'll just mention that it's limited seating and we will over RSVP that event because we know things always come up. So make sure if you are going to come early so you can make sure that you can grab a prime seat. We'll be super excited to kick that event off at Alamo Drafthouse, another classic Texas-based establishment that we have here in New York too. We love it.
Having been to the Alamo and Alamo Drafthouse,
which is better?
Alamo Drafthouse.
Whoa.
The Alamo is interesting, but if you've ever been, it's like you're looking at the Alamo, which as with all old buildings is like kind of smaller and less impressive in person because it's just like a tiny ass fort. But
Blake, we're going to Texas. You can't be speaking ill like this.
It's a different city. The Alamo's in San Antonio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
still
no one from San Antonio is going to be coming to this event, obviously. But then you like turn around and there's like a Ripley's Believe It or Not and like a Subway there. Like it's been, kind of like commercialified. So
let the record show I remember and love the Alamo.
Okay. I'm not forgetting it. I'm making it a talking point. And I'm going to be honest. I think people in Texas appreciate honesty, actually. So
it would be better if it had a basement for Pee-wee's sake.
What?
I don't get that reference.
Yeah,
either.
not at
What?
all.
You guys don't know Pee-wee's Big Adventure? His bike was predicted by the fortune teller that it was in the Alamo, in the basement of the Alamo. Come on, guys.
Sorry.
I don't remember. I think Pee-wee's canceled, so.
This was not his show. This was the movie, the first movie. Never mind.
Well, let's get back to Dallas.
We have a few more events that are also going on around the fair. We'll note that on Saturday at 5 p.m., Bruichladdich will have a happy hour. So you guys can obviously do some tasting from their bar, but it'll actually be a nice happy hour event on Saturday at 5 p.m. And then we're also having a great giveaway. So make sure you check that out. I think Trafford's going to be participating in that, and we're super excited about that as well.
Yeah, you got to get your free stuff while you can.
Yep.
Totally.
You know, am I safe to move on from the special events, Kyle? Because there's a lot of things that I'm not aware of, so I don't know. I don't actually know anything. So,
no, you're good.
No, that's exciting. No, I'm very excited. I think Dallas is an amazing market. I know people really want us to be there. The brands that are coming are great. Speaking of brands, not to put you guys on the spot, but who are you most excited to see? Everyone you don't pick will be upset, but you just have to pick.
Yikes. Go ahead, Nelly.
Okay, well, I have 2.
Nope.
Just one?
Yep, just one. Yep.
Okay, well, I love all of these brands equally. I'll give a shout out to actually the one brand that is a first timer at Windup. All of the other brands that are joining have been to a Windup before. I'm super excited to check out Watch Preserve. I'm a vintage watch girly myself, so I always love to see the pre-owned selection. I love a watch with a story. I think objects carry energy, and I think it's pretty special to take something that once belonged to someone else and give it new life. So shout out to Watch Preserve.
Yeah.
And I do, just before Kyle goes, I do just want to make some shout outs. I'm betraying you, Blake, but we have a bunch of local Texas brands. The Watch Preserve is from Fort Worth, so they're locals. But as I already mentioned, Zodiac and Fossil, obviously based in Dallas. Chris Ward has their showroom in Dallas. We're going to have other Texas and Dallas-based brands. So Jack Mason, Dallas brand. Trafford, which is one of our giveaway participants. They are based out of Austin. And also Dufresne, based in Austin. So we'll have a good showing of local brands.
That's exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, well, that was a good pick. Also, if you're interested in old things becoming new, don't forget about Vortic. Because they take old pocket watch movements and put them in modern cases.
Very cool.
It is pretty cool. Kyle, what's your most looked forward to booth?
Nice. Yeah. So I'm gonna also take an kind of a little bit of an oddball approach. I am going to say that I'm pretty excited that returning once again to the Windup Watch Fair is Giant Mouse. So Giant Mouse will be our only non-watch brand present at this particular Windup Watch Fair. They have been coming to Windup consistently now for a couple of years on end, and as soon as they heard about this opportunity, they were instantly on board, which we are super grateful for. Every time I go to the Giant Mouse booth, I see something that I want, but I just haven't, because I get pulled in so many directions at these things. I never have had the chance to actually sit down and make a purchase. So here I am going on record right now that it sounds like this is the one. This is the time where I'll have to actually make the time to actually take advantage of them being there and make a purchase. But yeah, I love that Giant Mouse is so supportive. We will have really robust EDC expos in San Francisco and New York this year, as well as a handful of great EDC brands in Chicago. But yeah, I love that Giant Mouse has recognized, that this platform of Windup is a great place for them to find their people, and I'm sure they'll find more of them in Dallas.
That's great. That's a great pick.
What about you, Blake?
Well, I'm actually kind of surprised and disappointed, because I don't think it's appropriate at all to single out brands in this sort of a format. I'm excited for everybody who's coming. I couldn't possibly pick one. I'm kidding. I'll pick one. I'm actually was just on their website recently looking at watches, and I was like, oh, those are pretty cool. They've come to a few windups, but I haven't really had a chance to stop and look at their inventory. Colorado Watch Company, the sister brand to Vortic watches. Their watches are really cool. And I think a little bit more modestly sized, which is my preference compared to some of the stuff they're making with the pocket watch movements, which is because pocket watch movements are considerably larger. And I think now they list on their website that they make 85% of these watches in the US, or 85% of the watch is like made in the US, which is really cool. It's a big feat. Side note, if you want a interesting conversation or sort of explanation or sort of diatribe about waking watches in America, the most recent A Week in Watches, the 100th episode, it was a Q&A with Zach Weiss, and one of the questions was about, will a watch ever be made in America? And he gives a very good, interesting explanation as to why he thinks it won't ever be made in America, a fully American-made watch. There you go.
Interesting.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Colorado Watch Company. Also, just while we're on the topic of them and Vortic, I think that we need to give R.T. Custer his flowers. One, for a great name. But he has been like a steadfast, no questions asked supporter of really everything we do, but Windup in particular. He's the guy who you email him, hey, here's the deck. You want to take a look at what we're doing? Are you interested? He's like, immediately, he's like, yep, I'm doing it. I'm doing this. You guys are great. Everything's great. You go to the events, no drama, no requests. He never needs anything. If he needed something, we'd give it to him.
Obviously.
And he crushes it at the events. He always does a great job.
Yeah. And shout out to Lauren, who works with RT, who rules. Love her.
Yeah. Yeah, RT's the best. Been knowing him for a long time. And just a solid guy. Happy to see him doing well. That's all.
Cool.
Well, cool. So where do we want to go from here? Do we want to tell some behind the scenes stories? Do we want to rapid fire Q&A? You want me to put you guys on your heels a little bit? Do you want to do the big long list of brands?
Yeah, let's do the brands just so I can get that, with all due respect, out of the way. Then we can get really into it. But I feel like we've singled out some brands, so I want to make sure that you all know who's coming. Mm-hmm. Okay, so are we ready? Am I ready? Let me take a sip of water.
While she drinks the water, oh, look, she's ready to give the list.
Okay. The brands coming to the first inaugural Windup Watch Fair, Dallas, Texas, are Accutron, Alpina, Anordain, Artifact, Astern Banks, Autodromo, Baltic, Brew, Bruichladdich, Bulova, Christopher Ward, Citizen, Colorado Watch Company, Dufresne, Elliott Brown, Ferrer, Formex, Fortis, Fossil, Frederic Constant, Giant Mouse, Hodinkee Insurance, Orage, Islander, Jack Mason, Young Hans, Marathon, Marchlab, Meistersinger, Mula Glasuta, Nevada Grenchen, Okanosker, Oris, Pollen, Presadis, Resco Instruments, Seiko Clocks, Space One, Stella, Sternglass, Strom, Studio Underdog, The Watch Preserve, Trafford, Venezianico, Vortic, William Wood, Zodiac. Done.
Yeah, no big deal.
No big freaking deal.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Wait, we also missed something incredibly huge. This is the 10th year of Windup Watch Fair.
Yeah. Yep. Forgot that detail.
Yeah. Table freaking turned, Blake.
Yeah.
What did you ever think you would get to 10 years
of my life of Worn and Wound
of the Windup Watch Fairs?
So I will say this: I don't think that it's normal to think about those kinds of milestones in advance of them. Or I don't know. For me, it's not normal. It's not the way that I think. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As evidenced by the fact that I forgot to mention it at the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah. Major milestone, huge deal.
And I think that at this point, I'm not really worried about Worn and Wound just like disappearing tomorrow. But like for a very long time, the assumption was like, hey, this could go away at any minute. You know what I mean? But I will say that Windup was like the first and maybe the only thing that ever was like very successful from the very beginning and has always just like gone really well. I mean, knock on wood. I literally just knocked on wood. You probably heard it. But like it worked. There was an idea. People thought it was a cool idea. A lot of people showed up to the first one. And then we did another one and even more people. It's kind of just been this snowball thing. So I think that looking back on doing it for 10 years, I'm not surprised that it's gone 10 years. I'm really excited by how much it's grown. I think doing it, 4 times a year, I didn't think we could do. I wasn't really sure that there was like an audience for that, but like there is clearly. And yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I think 4, it feels like the most you could possibly do in one country, like in the United States. So like if we add more shows to the schedule in the future, I'll be like pretty surprised to see where that goes.
I won't be surprised.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
But yeah, no, it's a great milestone and something we're obviously very proud of. But Yeah, I don't know. This is, again, maybe if you want to hear more thoughts on these kinds of things, listen to the Unwinding podcast where Zach and I just kind of kvetch and complain and commiserate. But yeah, you don't think about any of this kind of stuff. That's just not in our nature. We don't think about it. We're just like, oh, okay. And the upside to that is I think there's like a lack of pretension, but the downside is you don't stop to celebrate, which is a very important aspect of life.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I was an attendee of windups prior to working here and always looked forward to them throughout the whole year. I remember the first time I heard about it on the podcast and I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds incredibly cool. That was probably 2017 when I first started listening to Worn and Wound regularly, or I should say first started listening to podcasts regularly. I think Worn and Wound was the first podcast I actually started listening to ever. And so
You're welcome,
that's when
Joe
I heard
Rogan.
That's when I heard about the Windup Watch Fair and arranged to make sure I could go that year and since. But one thing that I want to just say, because this is such a defining factor of when we make decisions, I guess this is getting into behind the scenes, but like so much of what we talk about or with brands or the decisions we make or where we put the fair or how we arrange it, it's always focused on the visitor. You know what I mean? It's not focused on us or kind of where we want to, how we want to tout ourselves. It's actually really hard for us to get you guys to tout yourselves sometimes, that's an uphill challenge. But we always make decisions they're always made around what's the experience going to be for the visitors. And that's like something I think is amazing that's what the decisions are based on, but also I'm really proud of that as well. I think that's a good, hallmark of what we try and do here.
Yeah, I think that's well said, and I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've like said it like on other conversations about Windup, but it definitely feels like and it's changed a lot because a lot of other events have sort of popped up that are very kind of like attendee focused. But like for a long time, it just felt like the events weren't really about the people who were coming. It was about something else. And so the experience just really wasn't amazing. So yeah, I mean, I think, it's like, it was novel at one point, I think, again. And if I could give us credit for one thing, I think spearheading this concept of like a consumer focused, lower the barrier to entry, come one, come all kind of style of event is something that I think we kind of started with Windup, and it's great to see that other events have popped up. Maybe not when they steal your branding is not so great. Won't get into specifics, but there are events that have popped up that have stolen our website design and our promotional graphics design. What are you gonna do? They hate us because they ain't us. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Imitation is the sincerest.
It's true. But no, it's great that all these events pop up because it's like, yeah, we can't do a million events, and maybe it won't, like, from a business perspective, make a sense for us to go to every community. But now you have, District Time in DC, and you have the Intersect show going to all different kinds of communities, and you have the Toronto Time. They're all over the place, so it's like everybody gets to access this, which is great.
Yeah.
I always like to say it's like you get a lot of watches and a lot of enthusiasts together in a room, you're going to have a great time. I think Windup has, after New York last year, I think really did take an interesting twist because it really showed the industry the power of the enthusiast community like nothing had before. When you have over 10,000 people come through the doors in Windup New York last year, that's like an undeniable sort of moment where I've had lots of conversations with brands that don't show at Windups or any of these other cool enthusiast fairs and really focus on more trade shows and things like that. And when they saw the results of the people who came to Windup New York, it really like opened their eyes to what the enthusiast community is all about. And I'm really proud that Windup can take the charge and the lead in kind of building out that degree of gravitational pull amongst the enthusiasts to kind of make change happen within the watch industry as a whole. I think that was just a cool moment for us.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also, again, kind of like talked about this before in other conversations about Windup, but like, what came first? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that the event is what it is if it's not for like all the people that want to come and support it, you know? So, and certainly, I mean, this probably doesn't get said enough with the brands. Like, if there wasn't this like incredibly vibrant community of people, of brands run by really talented people who are like, you know, really doing this labor of love to make these amazing products, like that wouldn't exist either, you know? And, you know, there's tons of success stories in the community, and it's always exciting to see people like really take off. But with any small business, like there's a period of time where it's like, I always joke, like, you know, with Warner Watts, like you kind of eat shit for like 5 to 10 years and then it becomes a thing. And I think that that's kind of, you know, the case with a lot of these brands. It's just, it's tough going. And, you know, it's all that effort that's like created this community. So, yeah, it's, I mean, I'm happy that what we've been able to contribute has helped platform it, but also like Windup wouldn't be Windup if it weren't for the brands that come to it and the people that attend.
Totally.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, congrats on 10 years, Blake.
Thanks. Let me tell you, here's to 10 more.
Woohoo.
And then that's it.
No.
That's the clock runs out.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. That's fine. We can keep doing it. All right. Well, what do you guys want to talk about now? What about the event do you want to talk about now? Or do we want to finish?
I think the lightning round. I think go for it a little bit.
Okay. What is the most Texas thing that could happen at Windup?
Well, I think the most Texas thing that could happen at Windup is a ton of people show up. And we just get blown out of the water by the scale. I think that's the actual most Texas thing. And I see it in your eyes. You're fishing for 10-gallon hats and barbecue and horseback and cowboys.
You're stepping all over my answer here, Nelly. Come on.
But I think we got to put some respect on our friends in Texas.
Yeah.
I think that we know there's a super robust market and a really vibrant community. And I think that, no shade to New York or Chicago or San Francisco, but I think we might be a little bit overwhelmed with the people that come out for Texas.
Yeah.
I'm
I
excited.
Like, again, knock on wood, I expect that. Like,
yeah.
I have been telling everyone this when we talk about Dallas. Like, I expect the show to be like twice as big next year. I think we're going to go this year. I think it's going to be stuffed to the gills. I think there's going to be a line outside. I think it's going to be super amazing. And then I think we'll make it even bigger and better next year.
Mm-hmm. Well, not to blow behind the scenes, but there is a section of our agenda that said behind the scenes, how did we pull this off? Bullet point. What's the planning process like? And the truth is we had so many brands that were interested in coming to Dallas that the hardest part of putting the show on was truly just maximizing the floor plan. So as many brands as like we could fit as many brands as we possibly could. I think, again, that's a testament to the huge audience and market in Texas that these brands are really stoked to come and show. So, yeah, I think it's a real peek behind the curtain, but no surprise that we'll need to find a bigger venue next year.
Yeah, I think seeing Christopher Ward open their showroom in Dallas was like a real, like, canary in the coal mine for me. And maybe is not the right phrase, but like they're just a very savvy company, and I think that like for them to make that kind of investment in that market, and for Mike Pearson, like probably the best watch salesman or salesman of anything I've ever interacted with, like for them to be in that market, like it just says a lot. So I have a lot of faith, for among many other reasons, but I have a lot of faith. Also, Bull Stampede.
Bull Stampede.
Bull Stampede. Most Texas thing.
Okay.
Anyway.
Kyle, what about you? What do you think?
Well, I was going to say Chuck Norris as Walker Texas Ranger walks in, and he has, like, I was going to say barbecue in one hand and a guitar in the other. I don't know. That sounds right.
Yeah. Maybe a
Pretty
guitar filled with barbecue.
There you go.
Just ribs
That's
popping
what it
out of
was.
that little hole in the front of the guitar. You know?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I also, all kidding aside, I am excited to discover like the flavor of the Dallas watch community, because Chicago, New York, Chicago, and San Francisco are all very unique in the way that you kind of expect them to be unique. Like, you know, New York is New York. It's got this kind of funky flavor. There's like the industry that's in New York is very specific to New York. It's sort of the same thing in California. You know, you got a lot of like tech folks and they have their vests on. No, but I mean, like,
you
know,
have a vest on right now. You
I
have
know.
a vest on.
I know. The Venn diagram, there's crossover, Blake and tech guys. You know, the Chicago people, like very Midwestern, really sweet, kind. Some burly boys walk in that room. You know what I mean? Big boys. You're making a face at me.
I can't believe you went on record saying that.
It's not a bad thing. And I'm just curious to see like what Texas is like. Are we going to get cowboy hats? Are we getting cowboy boots? Like, what's going to happen? Are there Spurs? Are people going to be wearing Spurs?
James is literally shopping for cowboy hats. He's like organizing a Worn and Wound group trip to buy cowboy hats.
Interesting.
Which I'm excited about. I think I would look good in a Stetson.
Sure. Maybe we could get team cowboy hats.
Yeah. Sick. It's a business expense.
Well, Kyle, that was a really good answer.
Okay. You're welcome.
Yeah, no problem.
I like this first lightning round question.
What's the best watch to wear to wind up Dallas?
Yeah.
Jeez. I don't think I have an answer to that question off the top of my head.
Well,
here's just go ahead.
No, Kyle.
Oh, I was going to just say, I think the question is like, what is kind of like, what's the best type of watch to wear to a wind up? Is it like, do you want to go with a recognizable piece that people are going to instantly like be like, cool, I see that. I know what that is. Nice. Or do you want to actually go with something that is like unrecognizable that people will like be like, what the heck is that person wearing? I don't know. I don't know which of those you want. I guess there's multiple days. So one day you could wear a totally recognizable piece and the next day you could wear something that's like off the wall.
Absolutely. Cool. You can also wear multiple watches at once.
So many people do that.
You can.
Yeah. I would say the best watch to wear is the watch that you're not overthinking. Just gut instinct. What makes you excited? What do you love to wear? Just wear that watch.
I disagree completely.
Wow.
Well, Kyle, you match your shoelaces to your watch strap, so it's not a surprise that you are highly curated.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I think effortful is the new effortless.
Interesting.
Cool.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
I just think if you watch these like online like menswear bloggers and they're always like, it needs to be effortless style. It needs to be effortless style. It needs to look effortless, but they're putting so much effort into trying to look effortless. That's okay. Just let it be effortful. That's cool too.
You're like, own it.
Yeah. Own the fact that you're like thinking about this stuff and you're curating it and you're making these choices. Like, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Why is effortful not cool? I don't know. I think it's cool.
Wait, I want to amend my answer. I think the best watch to wear to wind up Dallas is no watch, so you can buy a cool watch there.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah.
I think that's a good call. My honest answer is probably to wear a watch that's like a sleeper that only like cool people would like get, and then they'll see it and be like, "What? You have that? What? Get out of here! Let me see it."
What watch are you?
You're accepted into our club now, and they hoist you on their shoulders and say, "You did it." I don't know what watch I'm gonna wear. Probably a limited edition, maybe, or I don't know why. What watch should I wear? Maybe my Christopher Ward. I'll bring my Belcanto for sure. Maybe I'll bring my White Speedy. Maybe I'll bring a Timex because Rolex Texas Timex. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's what they call Rolexes. A Texas Timex.
I do think it's really cool when we see people at windups wearing worn and wound LEs. I think that's always awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an easy way to get brownie points with anybody on the team.
Yeah.
Someone did at a windup. I don't know if it was a windup or at like another event we had, or maybe just someone I saw on the street who I spoke with. They had an X-Files watch on.
Whoa.
It was pretty cool. It was just a black watch with a white face and had a big X on it, like for the X-Files. But maybe I'll try to buy one of those.
Sick.
I have this aspiration to also dress exclusively in like city specific gear, like go to Chicago in like full, like Michael Jordan Bulls uniform, tank top and shorts and Jordans. And I want to wear like a Nolan Ryan jersey, you know what I mean, to this event. Maybe I'll try to figure that out before the show.
I think you could. We've got time.
Yeah, I hope so.
Nice.
Cool. So I want to ask one. I like this question, and I'm going to ping it toward Kyle. Kyle, if Windup was a movie, what would it be titled?
Would it be titled?
Well, called.
Windup. What
I
would
changed it to titled.
Okay. Wind the movie, colon. This is a hard one to be put on the spot.
Sorry.
Not gonna lie.
Blake, you go. You wrote this question.
Yeah. Let's see. Back to the Future. Time to head to Dallas.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I have. I think this is a hard question. Do you have an answer?
I have my answer.
Okay, go ahead.
Windup Dallas, colon, experience enthusiasm. Right?
Kyle, that's just our tagline.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think I'd go to that movie.
Fine.
Yeah, I don't think I'd go to that movie. Sorry.
Well, okay.
I'm just being
I think
honest.
it would be like a hangover style movie. I think it would be fun to like see the team at the end all tired, but in our like really well broken in cowboy boots and our hats, and it's like dusty and we're tired, and then you flash, back to the beginning of the event when we're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and well slept, well rested.
Yeah, Silence of the Watch events, like Silence of the Lambs, but watch events.
I get it.
Well, those are all really good suggestions. If you guys have suggestions, feel free to write in. You can hit us up on social media.
Wait, speaking of suggestions, if you join our Worn and Wound Plus Slack community, we have a special channel dedicated to the Windup Watch Fair. I pinged a question in there earlier for our local Texans and Dallasites, which I did have to Google. What do you call a person from Dallas? Dallasite. For recommendations for restaurants, food, bars, fun activities, nightlife. So if you're looking for some recs, head on over to our Slack community, Worn and Wound Plus.
Really easy to sign up. All you gotta do is sign up for our email list. That's it. Anywhere you can sign up for the Worn and Wound email list, you're going to get forwarded an email pretty quickly that says, do you want to join Slack? And then you join Slack and it's free. And there's a whole community of people there. You can do so much stuff there. You can learn about watches. You can talk about watches. We have off-topic channels. We have a news feed. So like we have a lot of news that goes in there. You could catfish people from in there if you wanted to. It's possible.
Wow.
Blake promised me this would go off the rails a little bit. So
Well,
welcome to not the rails.
This is what people come here
wow.
for.
Maybe the movie title is Wind Up Off the Rails.
That's pretty good. That's pretty
Too
good.
shabby.
What are the suggestions people put? I mean, can we give people a taste of what people suggested?
Okay, well, actually, this is huge. Let me pop over. So I just got to give it, I'm giving so many shout outs as if it's even my podcast, but I've got to shout out Paul Sanchez, who actually did come up to me at Chicago last year and gave me some grief about why we're not in Dallas. And I couldn't really tell him then that it was, we were percolating on coming, but we're coming. So Paul, I hope you have a great time next weekend. So Paul has a Discord group for watch collectors and enthusiasts in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They will be gathering at Terry Black's barbecue at 11 a.m. on Saturday before the fair opens. And it's about a 12-minute walk or 3-minute Uber from the venue, Hickory Street Annex.
I
in
can
Deep
walk to a
Ellum.
Terry Black's in 12 minutes from the venue.
Yeah, we won't see you the whole weekend.
Sayonara. Wow.
So that's, you get a Terry Black's, and if you go at 11 a.m. on Saturday, Paul and his group will be hosting a little get together ahead of the event. Worn and Wound plus Slack celeb Sean Martin, also from Texas, he popped over a list from the Dallas Observer with 12 of the best restaurants in Deep Ellum, which is the neighborhood where our venue is. Some others are National Anthem, Classic American, Monarch, which is a little upscale, Pecan Lodge, which is another favorite barbecue place. And there's a Trinity Groves Food Hall and Beer Garden. You would need to Uber there, but it's not far, according to Slack member Andy Beck. So thank you to our friends in Dallas who are giving us the inside scoop on great spots. And if you have more recommendations, pop them in Slack. Let people know.
Yeah.
Let us know. Apparently, all we know about Texas is Stetsons and Spurs and barbecue inside of a guitar. Like, school us, please.
Yeah, I'm
Humble
excited to
us.
be more informed about Dallas at the end of this weekend as well.
Yeah, I think we only can become more informed.
Yeah,
based
that's
on
fair.
this podcast.
That's fair. Well, look, I think this has to end at a certain point. I think this is a great point for it to end. Let's go through the details one more time. If you haven't been paying attention to this entire podcast, we are bringing the Windup Watch Fair to Dallas. We are going to be there March 15th, which is a Saturday, and March 16th, which is a Sunday. The event will be open from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday the 15th, and 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Sunday the 16th. That's the 16th of March this month. Don't play around this month. We're going to be at the Hickory Street Annex, which is at 501 South 2nd Avenue in Dallas, Texas. Over 40 brands, food trucks, lounges, giveaways,
Bar.
tastings, good times, the Worn and Wound team, a whole lot of stuff. So make sure you come by and say hi and make us come and do an even bigger event there next year.
Yeah, exactly. And how about if you come up and give us one true, correct fact about Texas that we clearly don't know, we'll give you a sticker.
A sticker?
Well, I'm not authorized to offer free drinks. You usually
Yeah,
do
free
that.
drink. Yeah, it needs to be a real fact about Dallas. Free drink, any drink that you want from the bar, but also we're capping this at 5 people. So the first 5 people that give us facts.
Okay. First 5.
And a sticker. Why not?
Yeah, and a sticker.
That's fine. I
we
just
have
don't
loads
know
of stickers.
if you know where they are.
I
then
got
they can have them.
stickers.
Okay.
Come find me for the stickers.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, thanks, Nellie and Kyle, for joining me for this podcast.
yeah.
Thanks for your contributions to this conversation. Thanks for helping to make Windup a reality. Thanks for everybody for listening. We'll see you in Dallas.
See you in Dallas.
See ya.